down on the street so fine. Step inside the door.
What's going on, you guys? Jesse Havoc here for both YouTube channels, Jester and Chains and Jester Gaming. And today we are going to talk about the 2025 World Series. Well, we are here. It's official. Congratulations to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Look, you can say what you want about payroll, about expectations, about the noise, but when that final out is made and the confetti falls, there's nothing left to do but tip your cap. They earned it. Every pitch, every swing, every incredible defensive play. That's the stuff of champions forged in the heat of a full season. And maybe that's why I feel so conflicted lately about the state of professional sports. Because when I look at a genuine celebration like this, where every player has bled for that ring, I think about what's being lost to the relentless pursuit of what we now call the super team. We've created a landscape where the story isn't about the journey anymore. It's about the assembly. It's the transactional nature of success. It feels like buying the final chapter of a novel without reading the rest of the book. And I genuinely believe it ruins the mystique. It strips away the magic, the competitive friction that makes sports. Think about it. When the 2014 Miami Heat created their big three, the anticipation was deafening. But it was competitive. But was it competitive friction or was it inevitable march? The joy of the win felt predetermined. And when those bought and paid for experiments fail, they fail spectacularly. And for the same reason. Look at the Philadelphia Eagles so called dream team. A beautiful narrative, a stunning collection of talent, a roster built on the idea that if you buy all the best ingredients, the cake will bake itself. It did it. They imploded, but even in that failure, the system won because the expectation was never about building an organic unit. It was about an instant gratification through high-profile signings. The mystique of sports lives in the underdog. It lives in the rookie finding his footing, the journeyman finally getting his shot, the improbable trade that changes a franchise, the coach that molds a group of talented individuals into a single cohesive team. The struggle is the poetry of the game. When you stack the deck from the beginning, you take the struggle and the poetry out of the equation. So tonight I'll cheer for the Dodgers because even a team with high expectations has to execute. But as I watch them celebrate, I hope we can all remember the greatest championships are the ones that are won, not merely assembled. And the true spirit of competition is found in the size of the is found not in the size of the contracts, but in the size of the fight. So basically, hey Heather, Dominic, how are you? So basically, a super team won back-to-back championships. The Dodgers didn't win in a, well, what's it called? They didn't win like in a sweep. No, they that Toronto team reminded me of the 2013 San Antonio Spurs. The 2013 San Antonio Spurs took the Miami Heat to 7 games and they lost. But the next season, we came back and we whooped their candy asses. We laid them. We laid LeBron down and we whooped his candy ass. So hopefully next year. I mean, I know it's hard to get back in baseball, but with the right moves, I bet Toronto will be back next season. Because they took that team to 7 games. So with that being said, when yesterday when they won, a fellow colleague of mine, not going to name names, but he went and said, quote, "Yes, it is hard to three-peat in any sport." We could agree on that because it is. I mean, we had we had the Lakers. The Lakers did it, and of course, Spurs fans needed a hug, but in 2003 we rectified that situation by knocking the Lakers out of the playoffs and beating the New Jersey Nets for a championship, and the Admiral David Robinson went out on top. But also, are people done with baseball? That's the question I'm asking. Are fans done with baseball just because a super team won twice in 2 seasons? Me, I'm not done with baseball. With wrestling, I'm kind of getting there with wrestling because wrestling has become a former shell of itself. And I believe it has to do with Triple H. Yeah. So let's critique the architect. Let's critique Triple H real quick. The architect's paradox, an argument against Triple H's booking success. The assertion that Triple H Paul Levesque is a bad booker is highly contentious, particularly given the near universal praise he received for the foundation and direction of the NXT's Black and Gold era from 2014 to 2020. However, when evaluating his creative vision against the demands of the main roster and the long-term health of the overall product, several consistent patterns emerged that suggest a significant disconnection, often leading to disappointing results and a lack of creative dynamisms. The core argument against Triple H's booking hinges on 3 main points: an over-reliance on niche work rate style that fails to translate to a broad audience, an inability to generate new top-tier main event stars organically, and a perceived rigidity in sticking to predetermined plan despite conflicting fan sentiment. Okay, here we go. Number 1, the work rate of bubble and pacing issues. Triple H's greatest success, NXT, was often lauded for its focus on in-ring action, long-term storytelling, and character depth. However, this environment served a specific smaller niche of the wrestling audience. When this philosophy was applied to the main roster, it often resulted in pacing problems. The critique here is not the quality of the matches, but the structure of the weekly televised product. During periods where Triple H's influence was heavily felt, critics noted a tendency toward, and here we go, I want John Cena to face somebody. I want John Cena to face a young wrestler. John Cena should face a young wrestler because, like Braun Breaker, Braun Breaker has a lot of promise, and he definitely can give John Cena a welcome. I think it would be a good back and forth match. A cut of maybe one or two spears, and then two attitude adjustments, and then that final spear where Cena tries to get him up for a final one. Braun Breaker gets out. Wham! Spear. 1, 2, 3. John Cena walks out. If it's Edge, that would be great. I mean, I don't even know if Edge's contract disputes are, but yeah. But yeah, Triple H is. But here's the noted the tendency to. Here's the tendencies that Triple H does. Excessive 50-50 booking. While intending to keep competitors even, this pattern often led to diminished stakes. When every loss is immediately avenged and no single performer gains sustained decisive momentum, the audience loses confidence in the ability of anyone to reach the next level. Overly long title reigns. In NXT, long title reigns built prestige, e.g., Finn Balor and Asuka. On the main roster, this approach sometimes led to stagnation and a lack of fresh challengers, dampening the must-see quality of premium live events. Ineffective star creation on the main roster. A booker's primary task is to create stars, while NXT 1.0 was a fantastic developmental brand that polished existing independent talent. Triple H's tenure has struggled to organically create undeniable world-beating main event players from scratch within the WWE system itself. Many of the top acts that succeeded under his watch were either established veterans, Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe, or wrestlers he had previously worked with and championed, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. Critics argue that his presence for specific wrestlers often overshadowed more organically popular acts. Take into account, LA Knight is a pure example of an organic act. Triple H likes to ball. Triple H likes to, do his. Triple H loves his black and gold darlings. The criticism became particularly sharp when comparing the buzz generated by talent developed by other creative voices like Daniel Bryan's organic rise versus talent heavily favored by Triple H, which often felt forced despite the performer's talent. This perceived favoritism results in a narrow focus that can ignore the potential of other breakout stars needed for a diversified product. And here we go. Rigidity and the pet project pitfall. The most common criticism leveled at Triple H's booking is a perceived inability to deviate from his initial creative vision, regardless of overwhelming fan feedback or changing circumstances, such as injuries. This adherence to the plan often creates a conflict between the locker room and the audience. The most historical example of this tension centered around the push of Roman Reigns in the mid-2000s, where persistent efforts to position him as a white meat babyface clashed violently with the audience desire to cheer for other more organically popular superstars. This perceived rigidity presents the spontaneity and responsiveness that often makes professional wrestling so compelling. While consistency is crucial, successful long-term booking requires the flexibility to listen to the audience. The final and most important metric. Conclusion. Triple H is not a bad booker in the traditional sense. He is a masterful character developer and architect of high-quality wrestling matches. However, the scale and scope of the WWE main roster demand a different approach than the highly controlled environment of NXT. His booking style frequently falls short by prioritizing the technical work rate and the elevation of his pet projects over adaptable storytelling, organic star creation, and acknowledging the pulse of the broader WWE universe that creates an architect's paradox, a brilliant structure, a blueprint of wrestling that sometimes fails to produce a compelling, universally accepted drama, which let's see. I have a feeling Triple H is punishing LA Knight for being over by himself. Triple H is very biased when it comes to certain superstars. Like I've noticed, have you noticed like he only books his like all the black and gold darlings, like Seth Rollins. I mean, he's like or his favorites, like that's why I'm worried about Obafemi coming to the main roster because Shawn Michaels is a better booker than him. Obafemi was this unbeatable juggernaut. And then the thing that pissed me off is how he lost the title to Ricky Saints. I'm like, come on, man, Ricky Saints can't be believable to beat a guy like Obafemi. Obafemi, I just like him because he's this big. I like my wrestling. I like it. I like variety. I love like when I was growing up, the Hardys were my favorite in terms of high flyers. Shawn Michaels, great in-ring performer. And then I loved for the big men, I loved Undertaker. Guys like that, Undertaker, Kane. Batista was another one. John Cena, I love. I like John Cena. He's a great wrestler. I mean, he was a great man person, and he was over. But I've just like I was like when I said about last night's pay per view, which I'll be going over the. Greg Khali was okay for like his first run, but then he got stale due to the fact that he was not mobile. He was very very slow, very slow. But that double choke slam was pretty awesome. Okay, let's look for some palette cleansers. I'm gonna grab. Let's see. So we can go into look. So the San Antonio Spurs, I'm looking forward to seeing them this season. They last I checked, they were 5-0. 5-0. So let's go over the main event. Saturday night's main event results. The recent WWE Saturday night's main event, which aired, featured the major championship changes. Here are the key results. CM Punk defeated Jey Uso to become the World Heavyweight Champion. And I like that because if you like what I said before, my predictions, but I wrote it down. If you want for those either of those two to be champion, I would pick CM Punk because you have a needle mover in CM Punk, even though CM Punk is an, an aging veteran. I would rather see him world champion because Jey Uso just didn't work out. Okay. The Undisputed Championship. Cody Rhodes defeated Drew McIntyre to retain the Undisputed Championship. And we got a new women's champion, which about time they put the belt around Jade Cargill. And the Intercontinental Triple Threat match. Dominic Mysterio defeated Penta and Rusev, which I saw, which was hilarious the way it ended, and Dominic ringing the bell. But let's get into more of this. All right. So let's look at the performance. The main event was a hard-hitting back and forth contest for the vacant world championship. The match was full of near falls and exchange signature moves, including Jay hitting a spear that sent Punk crashing through the barricade. In the final moments, Punk delivered a GTS, but Jay was able to kick out. Jay managed to counter Punk into a sleeper hold, the move he used to win his first title, World Heavyweight title, but Punk quickly reversed it into his own submission and kind of vice. Jay barely made it to the ropes to break the hold after trading some more offense, another near fall. Punk caught Jay with a second decisive GTS to secure the pinfall and capture the World Heavyweight Championship. Next up, let's look at the Cody Rhodes match. This match was fought under a special stipulation. Cody Rhodes would lose the undisputed WWE Championship if he was disqualified or counted out. Drew McIntyre expertly used the stipulation to his advantage, nearly winning by count out after driving Rhodes through the announce table. McIntyre repeatedly tried to bait Rhodes into using a weapon, even encouraging him to hit him with the championship belt. In the match's climatic sequence, McIntyre shoved Rhodes into the referee, knocking the official down. McIntyre immediately grabbed the title belt to use as a weapon, but Rhodes countered and executing a DDT onto the championship belt. As the referee came to, Rhodes quickly delivered a crossroads and pinned McIntyre to retain his title. The finish was controversial due to Rhodes' use of the title belt. Hey, see, there could be a story for this one. See, you could have Nick Aldis could come out, strip Cody Rhodes of the title, and then have them face off in another match to become the undisputed champion, because that to me that would be a controversial match. And here we go. Jade Cargill defeated Tiffany Stratton. This is a dominant performance by Jade Cargill. Cargill immediately targeted Tiffany Stratton's pre-existing knee injury after a short but intense match where she threw Stratton around the ring with multiple power moves. Cargill finished off her opponent with Jaded modified Glam Slam to win her first singles championship. So let's take a look. All right, so let's take a look at what else. So there's something I wanted to do when there is nobody, when there's no guests show up, and that's game time. So what I want to do, I've been thinking of how I would do this, and today we're going to play today's game where we're going to play for a little bit is this one I bought today, All Pro Football 2K8. This one is a great football game. So before we do anything, let's see. We'll delete that. Delete that, because what we're going to do is we're going to organically let's see. Okay, there we go. All right. Now, when I like to, you might not, I'm still trying to figure this out, so bear with me, folks. All right, we're going to switch. There we go. We're going to switch from this to this. And then we're going to, there. Or better yet, keep there. All right. So hopefully this works. And if we could get, I don't know if we do get people in, that would be great. Danny. Let's see. Okay, that's. Hold on. Let me switch back to my camera and do this. Oh, I forgot. You have to do this special thing with PS3. Which is annoying. All right. So let me set this up real quick and I will. Okay. Then we have to restart it. Turn off. And then we'll turn it back on and then. Yeah, I have other PS3 games that I like to that I have on here. I got Oblivion. I got Deus Ex Human Revolution, which I'll be playing in future streams. I got MLB The Show 09, MLB 10. I got UFC Undisputed. I even got a couple of NBA Live games as well. But I am going to get more. Yeah, you're glad the Dodgers won, Danny. I'm just kidding. honestly, I was going for the what's it called I was going for the Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays disappointed me. They had a couple of games. And I wanted to hello, how are you today? All right, let's see if this will work. Once we get that working, I can actually play the game and talk at the same time. We got 5 viewers here. I might. Let's see. Okay. So Dan, this one's for Danny. I'm gonna meme Danny. I'm not like. So this is for Danny. See, this is what I think of the Dodgers right now. You know. Hmm. That's weird. I think I'm gonna have to get a new HDMI port. So, well, yeah, that's the Tyler Calvert. Speaking of Tyler, how about them? What's it called? Okay, maybe if I did this. That is weird.
Are you ready?